You're not coming to the wedding. Mom texted coldly. Lily's family doesn't want you there. I smiled and texted back, so you chose status over blood. Then I canceled everything, including their venue deposit. They had no idea what was coming next. Hi, Reddit. I'm still shaking while typing this, but I think writing it out might help me keep my head clear. I never thought my family would turn into the type you read about on here, but here we are. For context, I'm Harper, 27F. My younger sister Tina, 25F, is getting married in less than 2 months. Our parents have always treated her like the golden child. She's the one who followed their script for life, went to the right college, got engaged to a guy from a well-off family, and somehow managed to never have a rebellious phase. I, on the other hand, chose to work after high school, skipped college, and started my own small event planning business. My parents see me as the disappointment because I didn't marry rich or work a real job. Ironically, it was me who helped Tina pull her wedding together. I booked her venue through one of my industry contacts, which got her a huge discount, arranged catering, and even put down the venue deposit out of my own pocket as a gift. I was supposed to be her maid of honor, though. Truthfully, Tina never treated me like one. I was more like her unpaid wedding coordinator. Everything was fine, or at least tolerable, until this past Saturday. Out of nowhere, I get a text from Mom, "You're not coming to the wedding. Tina's fiancé's family doesn't want you there." I just stared at the screen, reading it over and over. No explanation. No phone call. Just a casual execution of my invite like I was a random +1. When I asked why, Mom eventually admitted that Tina's future in-laws prefer events to be high class and that I apparently don't fit the image. Translation. Because I run my own business and don't flaunt designer clothes, I'm not good enough for their staged fairy tale. And Mom agreed with them. That's when I sent back, "So you chose status over blood." She didn't respond. I sat there for a while, heart pounding, before something inside me went ice cold. If I wasn't good enough to attend, I certainly wasn't going to keep paying for the privilege of working on their perfect day. So I logged into my vendor portal, canceled the venue booking I'd made under my name, and requested the deposit refund, which is going straight back into my account. Then I started making a list. A very long list. They have no idea what's coming next. The refund from the venue hit my account 2 days later. A sweet $3,000. I almost felt bad. Almost. But that was just the first domino. You see, the thing about being in the event industry is that your network is everything. I knew the florist personally. We've worked together for 5 years. The caterer. My former assistant's cousin. The DJ. A guy I introduced to Tina at my own birthday party. Every single one of them was booked through me. Every single one of them had my name on the paperwork. I didn't have to yell. I didn't have to be petty online. I just made a few polite calls. "Hi, this is Harper. I'm calling to cancel the booking for the Harrison wedding on October 14th. Something's come up and I won't be managing the event anymore. Please go ahead and refund any deposits as per the contract. Yes, I'll send the cancellation email over right now." Within 24 hours. Florist canceled. The bride's special imported roses. Not happening. Caterer canceled. Goodbye to their Instagrammable, overpriced tasting menu. DJ canceled. The only replacement he had available was some hobbyist who plays remixes from YouTube. I didn't touch the dress, the photographer, or anything. They handled themselves. I'm not that cruel. But everything I set up, I took back. And here's the kicker. I didn't tell them right away. I knew if I did, they'd panic and try to scramble. No, I wanted them to find out naturally. Which, given how laid back Tina is about communication, would probably be at the final vendor confirmations a week before the wedding. While all this was happening, Mom texted me again, this time to remind me not to make a scene about the disinvitation. I just replied, "No scene here. Promise." And I meant it, because this wasn't going to be a scene. This was going to be a slow, quiet collapse. It started with a phone call on Tuesday. I was at my desk when my phone lit up with Tina's name. I let it go to voicemail. Twice. On the third attempt, curiosity got the better of me. Her voice was shrill, borderline hysterical. "Why would you cancel the florist? Mom said you were just upset, not insane." I leaned back in my chair, sipping coffee. The florist was booked under my account. I canceled my account. What's insane about that? Before she could reply, I heard another voice in the background. Deep, impatient. Ethan. Her fiancé. Just tell her she's being selfish and move on. Tina. We'll figure it out without her. Tina must have forgotten to cover the phone because I heard her hiss back. She knows everyone in the industry, Ethan. We can't just replace her. I almost laughed. Now he cared about my network. Too late. Then Ethan came on the line himself. Harper, I don't know what your problem is, but this is really immature. We wanted this day to be perfect, and you're sabotaging it because you can't handle not being the center of attention. That got me. Oh, I'm sorry, Ethan. I thought your family didn't want me there because I wasn't their kind of people. I'm just making sure I stay out of sight and apparently, so do all the things I paid for. He sputtered something about not meaning it that way, but I hung up. By Wednesday, Mom was calling. Dad was calling. Even my aunt tried to mediate. Apparently, the only caterers left had either insane prices or terrible reviews. The DJ replacement sounded like he was streaming from a laptop in his basement, and the florist couldn't source the special roses in time. And then the best part, Ethan's mother called me. This woman had never said 2 nice words to me in her life, but now she was suddenly concerned about misunderstandings and hoping we can work this out. I told her politely that I'd be happy to discuss, over coffee, after the wedding. The group chat Mom made for wedding updates went from busy to dead silent after that. I imagined Ethan pacing in his suit fittings, Tina crying over Pinterest boards, and the in-laws quietly realizing that maybe, just maybe, they'd pulled the wrong thread. The morning of the wedding, I woke up to a string of texts from unknown numbers. Apparently, I was the family's new favorite villain. By noon, I was at brunch with a friend while a light rain started to fall outside. Somewhere across town, Tina and Ethan were watching their carefully staged fairy tale fall apart in real time. At 1:45 p.m., my cousin Jamie texted. Ethan's freaking out. The caterer's late. The DJ setup is glitching, and Tina's locked herself in the bridal room. By 2:15 p.m., Ethan himself called me. I actually answered this time because I wanted to hear it. Harper, look, I'm sorry about everything, okay? Can you just please call your vendors back? We'll pay you back, I swear. I let him sit in that awkward silence for a few seconds. You didn't have a problem when I was just the help, Ethan. You only care now because it's biting you in the ass. It's not like that, he said quickly. No, it's exactly like that. You didn't want me there. Now you don't get me, or anything I bring. I hung up before he could start begging. By 3:30 p.m., half the guests had left. The ceremony hadn't happened. The in-laws looked like they wanted to disappear. Jamie told me Ethan's mother kept muttering about how unprofessional all of this looks while glaring at Tina like it was her fault. That night, Tina posted one heavily filtered Instagram photo, cropped so you couldn't see the wilted flowers, the folding chairs, or the fact that there were maybe 20 people left. Ethan didn't post anything at all. The next week was all guilt trips. Mom said Ethan tried to be the bigger person by calling me. Dad said I'd hurt a man who just wanted to make our family proud. Ethan himself sent a short, bitter text. Hope you're happy. You got what you wanted. He was wrong. I didn't get what I wanted. I just stopped giving them what they didn't deserve. The morning after the wedding, my phone lit up like a slot machine. Calls, texts, and long-winded Facebook messages. Mom started it off with, "You should be ashamed. Your sister's heartbroken and humiliated. And you just slept through it." Then Tina's message came through. 10 solid paragraphs. No punctuation breaks. I didn't read them all at first, but I caught the highlights. You've ruined our relationship forever. Ethan's parents think I married into the wrong family now. You were supposed to have my back, even if we fought. There was no, "I'm sorry" in there. No acknowledgement of the original wound. Just the assumption that I should have swallowed the insult for the greater good of their image. Ethan's text came that afternoon. I honestly don't know how you sleep at night. You turned a day that was supposed to be about love into a statement about yourself. I didn't reply, but I typed one out and deleted it. No, I turned it into a statement about how you treat people you think are beneath you. Extended family started chiming in too. Some furious, some disappointed, and a few quietly. Admitting they thought what happened to me was unfair, but they wished I'd handled it differently. Which is family speak for you were right, but you embarrassed us so we can't say that out loud. By the end of the week, the tone had shifted from rage to strategic guilt. Mom, I don't know if you realize this, but you've made it very hard for your father and me to show our faces at church. Dad, sometimes you have to sacrifice your pride for the family. You'll understand one day. And my personal favorite from my aunt. Blood is thicker than water. Harper. You should have just smiled and been there for your sister, even if you felt hurt. That's what real family does. I didn't respond to any of them. I screenshotted them all, though. Not to share, just to remind myself of exactly how quickly family can turn into an audience for your public shaming. After a week, the messages stopped. Not because anyone had forgiven me, but because they realized I wasn't going to answer. That silence. It was better than any apology they could have faked. 6 months passed before anyone in my family reached out again. Not out of forgiveness, but because they needed something. It was my aunt calling to catch up, but really fishing for gossip. I let her ramble for a while before she finally blurted it out. Well, I guess it's not really a secret anymore. Ethan and Tina are having some trouble. Turns out the crack started on the wedding day itself. Ethan's family blamed Tina for the disaster, accusing her of letting me sabotage it. Tina, in turn, blamed Ethan for not standing up to them sooner. By their 1-month mark, they'd had 3 blowout fights, 2 about money, since the replacement vendor still charged more than expected, and 1 about Ethan's mother constantly dropping by unannounced. Jamie filled in the juicier details over coffee. Tina's dream honeymoon. Cancelled because Ethan's parents refused to help pay after the embarrassment. Ethan's mother still refers to the wedding as the day we don't talk about. A couple of Ethan's groomsmen stopped talking to him entirely because they found out how I'd been treated. Then Jamie leaned in like she was delivering state secrets. They're in marriage counseling. And Ethan moved back in with his parents for a week after their last fight. I didn't smile. Not exactly. But I won't lie, there was a certain cold satisfaction in knowing that the fairy tale had rusted so quickly. A month later, I ran into Ethan at the grocery store. He looked thinner, tired. He gave me a small nod but didn't say anything. I almost felt bad until I remembered him calling me selfish while standing in the ruins of a wedding I'd built for him and Tina. The family still pretends the whole thing was just an unfortunate misunderstanding. But the undertone is different now, quieter, more careful. I think they know that if they try to use me again, I won't just walk away. I'll pull every nail out of the structure and let the whole thing collapse. And Tina. We haven't spoken since the wedding. But every now and then, I see her posts, the ones where she's smiling just a little too wide, wearing a ring she no longer tags Ethan in. It's funny. They all thought the wedding was the main event. But really, it was just the first crack. Subscribe and let me know where you're watching from.